Hey everyone, just a quick video message to say Merry Christmas to all of you and hope that you have a warm and peaceful Christmas, because during this festive season, it is a time of duality where there are gatherings of family and friends, and then there is loneliness, there is joy, and then there is inner conflict, there is war, and then there's peace. So it is always, there's always the duality perspective going on there. It's just that we become more aware of it at Christmas because we feel that, this is the time we should be with friends, with family, with loved ones. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, that is not always the case. So, this is just to send you some encouragement and to know that we are really all one big, huge family. And even though we may not be able to physically see each other, from my heart to yours, just wishing you a peaceful Christmas. So when you look at that dual perspective or perspective of duality, there's always a poem that comes to mind, and this poem by Dr. Maya Angelou was a poem that got me through very many difficult times in my life, where I felt that I no longer had power. I felt hopelessness, I felt sadness, I felt anger, and I would always go back to that poem of hers and it would settle me. So I thought I'd like to read it to you. It's The Caged Bird. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with the works of Dr. Maya Angelou. But for those of you who aren't, I suggest that you get a couple of her books, look up stuff online. She has been a great spiritual teacher to me for years, for decades. I think the first book I read was I Wonder Why the Caged Bird Sings, and I believe I was 11 or 12 at the time, and this grand lady has helped me through many a difficult time in my life. So I would like to share this poem with you. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. So what this poem ultimately means to me, and I think that was also Dr. Maya Angelou's intention with this poem, was to show us that sometimes we feel like that caged bird, and other times we feel like the bird of freedom. And ultimately, it is a personal choice how we feel, how we respond to certain situations, how we deal with certain situations. And this has always put things into a better perspective for me. And I know there are difficult times from very, very, very many of you going through breakups, recently divorced, maybe having to break ties with family members. A very difficult time, but it is also a time of courage and a time of peace. So whatever that peace looks like to you, create that peace for yourself during this festive season, whether it's snuggling up on the sofa with hot chocolate and good movies, or just spending time in your pajamas, staying in bed, watching movies, reading, whatever that peace may look like for you, do that. because that is what is going to keep you rested. It's going to give you a time to reflect on the past year. And I think when times are so traumatizing and so upsetting, that is also the opportunity where we can create that rest, the peace within ourselves, and reflect on situations that have gone on, and reflect on life experiences, which ultimately offers us another opportunity to take a different route and to see whether we want to stay in that cage and sing of freedom, or literally be free and are able to soar on the wings of resilience, which is something that we all have. Never ever forget that. So take care of yourselves. Wishing you a warm Christmas once again, and looking forward to speaking to you all very soon. From my heart to yours. Bye for now.